Hi everyone, how are we today? Just doing a quick all signs reading today, looking at career and money for you throughout April. All right, so just a bit of a general overview for what career and money might have to bring, some advice for the month of April. All right, I have uploaded all the weekly readings for April, so definitely check those out if you haven't already. Lots of interesting storylines coming through in the weekly readings, so definitely check those out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you will stay updated with all the new uploads as well. I do have shadow work reading coming up next week as well. All right, today we are using, this is the Healing Money Blocks Oracle, and I do also have here the Celtic Lenormand. All right, timestamps in the description box along with all the other good information to contact me, etc. And we will get into it today, starting off with our Aries. Okay, Aries. Career and money. What does Aries need to know in regard to career and money for April? Career and money messages for Aries in April. Okay, Aries. We see reward wins. All right, celebrate every financial milestone, no matter how small, to cultivate a positive mindset around money. And today I am going to take the bottom of the deck for everyone as well. So keep growing. Keep growing, Aries. Adopt a growth mindset, believing that there is always room to improve your finances. So basically celebrating the small gains, no matter how big or small they are, to cultivate that positive mindset and, that growth mindset that, oh, okay, so, I got an extra dollar. So, awesome. That's fantastic. I can get another extra dollar and another extra dollar. So adopting that growth mindset that there's always room to improve. Awesome. I got an extra dollar this week. Maybe next week I can get an extra $2. All right. So just cultivating that mindset of positive energy and growth, especially when it comes to your finances, Aries. Okay, career and finances for Aries throughout April, please. Career and finances for Aries in April. We see the ring coming through first. That's the ring. I know it's a handshake in this particular deck, so it really does exemplify the areas of contracts and commitments. So for a lot of you, you may actually be going over contracts that you're and commitments that you've made through your career sphere there. I do feel too this is very much just a message letting us know here, Aries, that your career is pretty stable and secure. We do also have the fox and the anchor coming through there as well, that you may be sort of re-securing or recontracting, recommitting. So it may be just that time of year where you're, signing over the yearly, contract or whatever that might be for some of you. The fox does let us know really be very intelligent and kind of a little bit crafty with the way that you're, going over those sorts of documents, making sure that you're focused on you and what you're getting out of it, doing what you need to do and making sure you're getting things done. This is definitely an intelligence, a crafty kind of energy in the sense of definitely checking over fine print with any contracts or commitments that you're signing up to with financial stuff. I do feel specifically financial documents, okay, that if you're signing on for a loan this month, Aries, that you're really needing to go through the fine print and making sure, that it, how this is going to affect you, that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, checking out all those loopholes, making sure you're aware of everything, in those contracts. All right, we do also see the anchor. All right, so that's very steady, dependable energy. All right, so that's the kind of energy of no news is good news when it comes to career and money. There may not be any huge, big, enormous gains this month, but there's not going to be any huge, big, enormous drains this month either. All right, it's kind of steady as she goes kind of energy that for a lot of you, I do feel as though it's that steady increase as well, that you can kind of, depend on that steady, slow increase, that growth mindset, those small gains coming through there. So it may be just very, very small. Like it may be, you're recontracting, but it's only, an extra 10 cents an hour, but it builds up and builds up and builds up. And so it's all about moving forward and growing. But I do feel as though April, it is going to be a month of pretty steady, stable kind of energy on that front. But, you may see some small gains to be made financially as well. All right, so that's what we're seeing for you, Aries. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for the shadow work reading next week. And we will move on over to our Taurus. Okay, Taurus, career and money messages for Taurus throughout April. What does Taurus need to know in regards to career and money in April? Okay, Taurus. Invest in you. Embrace the concept of investing in yourself and your skills to increase your earning potential. All right, so this month definitely might be a month where you're making some sort of small investment in, furthering your skills, furthering your education. I do also pick up quite heavily here. For some of you, this is investing in your physical body in some kind of way as well. So, especially those of you where, your career may be dependent on, you being the face of the company, or, you may be in that kind of energy where, as an example, if you're a personal trainer, your body really is a really good, it's an example of what you're selling. So you may be needing to invest in some way in something for your physical body as well, and looking at it as a long-term investment rather than, just getting that bit of work done or whatever, So I am picking up on something along those lines, like somebody may be getting, I'm just getting things like, like a facelift or a nose job, like a little bit of work done on the physical side of things, especially with the face in gold there, that's kind of like, taking care of your skin masks and all that sort of stuff. It's an investment in yourself and what you're presenting as your business, whether that business is, an actual business or somehow you yourself, like in the example of the personal trainer, you're embracing the concept that you need to look the part kind of thing. All right, but we do see value first coming through as well, Taurus. Release any attachment to material possessions and focus on the value that they bring to your life. All right, so rather than valuing that nice watch because it's worth, $20,000, you're valuing that nice watch because it keeps really good time. And, ever since you've gotten that watch, you have not been late for an appointment. So you're focusing more on the value that is added to your life rather than the monetary value of things in your life. Okay, but we'll clarify that with the lenormand as well. Taurus, what does Taurus need to know this month in regard to money and career? Career and money messages for our Taurus. April. Interesting. Okay. We do see the clouds coming through first here, all right? So there's a lot of overthinking, a lot of, there may be some confusion happening. I do feel as though this is specific to something around you, someone you maybe work with or something along those lines, because we do see the snake coming through there, as well as the broom, the whip, all right? So that kind of straight away tells me that there is, there's a deception that leads to an argument of some sort. But it's kind of giving me a few different messages. Like straight through, we've got that you're confused about being deceived, and it leads to a fight, an argument, tension, drama. But it's like there's a bit of like you're overthinking it, and it's so the deception is not as deceptive as it may seem, kind of thing. You may be overthinking it a little bit, but But for others of you, there is, like, I do feel that for a majority of you, there is legitimately, it's someone who's just being a little bit snaky, a little bit sneaky, a little bit like whispering in somebody's ear, a little bit, I don't necessarily like the word deceptive, because sometimes it doesn't portray what, that whispering in the ear kind of thing, that it's not an out and out big lie or big betrayal, that sometimes that a deception can just be, somebody is creating an illusion of something, like they're trying to make something seem like more than what it actually is. And it leads to a bit of an argument, a bit of a conflict. Just clarify that snake energy for Taurus, please. Clarify that snake energy for Taurus. Is that another person being a bit deceptive, or is that more to do with Taurus's thoughts? Just clarify that energy, please. Okay, so that's clarified by the fish and then the cross. So this is definitely like something monetary based. Somebody, maybe, like it's not coming up as a theft or a loss or anything like that. It's coming through as like a little white lie that there's more money than there actually is, or they spent the money on something which they actually spent it on something else. It does feel a little bit. It does feel a little bit of I'm getting the word fraudulent coming through here a little bit. Just a tiny bit of fraudulent kind of energy there. But it's kind of like it's a misleading fraudulent energy. It's like somebody's making it look like something is being done by somebody else kind of thing. That's what I'm picking up. Especially with the cross here, because that's kind of showing us that whatever this is, it's your responsibility at the end of the day. And that's why you're feeling a bit betrayed by whatever this action is. It's like, because it's like something that was your responsibility, and somebody else just didn't do the job properly or something, and it's led to issues. You gave somebody more responsibility than what you maybe should have, and you've allowed them to, and they've made a mistake on the books or something like that. So I don't necessarily feel as though it's like an intentionally deceptive, fraudulent energy. It's just like, for some of you, it may be like just totally accidental. It kind of feels like it's because you're allowing others to have more responsibility than they should. Or like you're trusting someone to be able to do something, whereas maybe you should just do it yourself kind of thing. Somebody kind of misappropriating funds or something along those lines. Like you give somebody, a certain amount of money to go and pay for the work dinner, and they, take advantage of that kind of thing. It's not like a really huge, big drama, but it's because you're needing to invest in you being capable to do these things yourself. Does that make sense, Taurus? It's not really being super specific about what that is, but it just seems to lead to a bit of drama in the workplace, a little, maybe an argument with somebody. Like I said, it just feels like you're realizing that maybe you allowed somebody too much responsibility. Like you overthought their capabilities or something along those lines. You thought that they would be more capable than what they are. For some of you, it's because it's just kind of like a little bit like a misunderstanding kind of energy. So it's like a mistake, misunderstanding that leads to this just little argument, this tension in the workplace kind of thing there, Taurus. So just keep yourself aware of that, and make sure you're taking the financial responsibilities seriously this month. All right, don't be relying on others for your financial responsibilities, and you should be fine. All right, but that's what we're seeing for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for that shadow work reading next week, and we will move on over to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini, what's going on for our Geminis in April with career and money? Career and money messages for Gemini in April. Be realistic, Gemini. Set realistic and achievable financial goals that align with your values, aspirations, and life purpose. All right. So instead of setting those goals, like 10 million miles away, start small with your goals. Steps that you know that you can take and you know that you can achieve. Start a little bit smaller, bring it back down and break that gigantic big wish down into steps and aim for the first step, not for the gigantic wish all in one go. Oh my gosh, look at your other card. Small steps. That's exactly what I was just sort of saying. Break down your goals into smaller, actionable steps to make them manageable and easier to achieve. Oh, you can't make this stuff up, guys. Like, I had only seen the reward, the Be Realistic card. All right. And straight away, that was the analogy that came through, was like breaking it down into, steps. And then we see the small steps card come straight on through. That's crazy. I love it when it does that to me. Gemini. What does Gemini need to know for April in regards to career and money? It really does show you that was the right message, right, Gemini? That it wants to tell you. It's such a good message, it had to tell you twice. Gemini. What does Gemini need to know in regards to career and money? We have the house coming through first here. So, this is like being stable and secure, especially when it comes to this small steps and be realistic kind of energy here as well. That, just be very stable and make sure because it keeps showing me the same example of, this instead of, jumping from here to here, we're turning that into a ladder and we're taking one step at a time. And, we're making sure that we're very secure and stable on that first step before we try to go up to the next step. So, you're really focusing on security. For some of you, there may be, you may actually be finding opportunities to really assess your financial security, or it may actually, like, I'm getting like physical security. Like it's even, I've actually got a security sign over there on a cupboard. Like one of the stickers that you get when you get, the cameras. Oh, this property is protected. It's kind of giving me that. So for some of you, you may be getting an opportunity to like review your security, like the physical security of your workplace or your home or something along those lines, as well, wherever you kind of work from here, Gemini. So that may be very important for you this month as well, to like review the tapes or review the system itself and make sure it's all functioning correctly, or maybe upgrading the system and things like that may be very important as well, because we do have the key coming through here as well. So with the house and the key especially, that really quite a lot of the time can talk about, door locks, quite literal door locks as well. So there may be a need to, upgrade the security on the property. All right. So with your career, there may be the need to, quite physically secure, the property a little bit further this month as well. But we do see with the key there that this is, opening new doors for yourself here. For some of you, you may be even moving locations, moving to, a more stable, more secure location for your business or your home or things that affect you in when it comes to career and money. All right, so there's opportunities here though. Okay, a lot of opportunities for you to, take those small steps and actually, be very stable in doing so, and have them be very secure for you, so that when you go on to that next step, you're actually a step above where you were initially. So, bit by bit, you're going to get to that big goal, but, you're needing to make sure each step along the way is nice and stable, so that you're not going to slide all the way back down. All right, but these opportunities are opening up to you, and with the key there, definitely leads you to success. That's a really strong positive career energy. We do also have the feminine here as well. All right, so for some of you, this opportunity may actually hinge on an important female, like a matriarchal type role in the business. Okay, so this, for some of you, it may be, a family business. It may be an actual, matriarchal person, like a mother or something along those lines, that may be, part of what is really making this stable and making these opportunities available for you here. They may be playing a very prominent role for you, within the career, the business stuff, the money stuff. But for others of you, this is all just about you sort of opening up to, the softer sides of yourself, where you trust your instincts and you nurture your emotions. So if something doesn't feel right, you're trusting that, and, you're nurturing and growing things, all right? Because the feminine really nurtures and grows things as well. So if this is like some sort of new opportunity, a new business venture or something along those lines, this is where you come in with a very feminine energy, and you nurture that, and give it space to grow, and you sort of you teach, and you help that along. So you're taking a very sort of mothering role when it comes to nurturing those steps as they go, kind of thing. I hope that kind of makes sense there, Gemini, because that's how it's coming through for you. But you are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for the shadow work reading next week, and we will move on over to Cancer. Cancer. What's going on for Cancer in April when it comes to money and career? Money and career for Cancer in April, please. Okay, Cancer. Release the guilt. Let go of any guilt or shame associated with money, and instead focus on creating positive changes. All right, so you are holding on to feeling like, and straight away seeing your second card here, we have the smart spending card. So for some of you, you do have a bit of guilt or shame over, potentially emotionally spending, or, overspending, or spending on the wrong things in the past, and things like that. And so you need to release the guilt and shame about that. What's done is done, kind of thing, Cancer. All you can do is do better in the future, right? You can't change the past, but you can use that to learn to do better in the future. Smart spending. Practice self-discipline in your buying decisions, and in avoiding impulsive purchases or unnecessary debt. All right. So before you go and sign up for that loan, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this a need, or is this a want? All right. Seems to be a really good question for you, Cancer. Is this a need, or is this a want? Cancer, what does Cancer need to know in regards to career and money throughout April? Money and career messages for Cancer. Okay, so we start off with the feminine energy here. This is a very nurturing energy. This is like a softer energy, being softer on yourself. Once again, releasing all that guilt, Cancer, and being a little bit softer on yourself, all right? Instead of focusing on, what I've done, what I haven't done, how I've done things, or whatever. We're focusing on instead, nurturing and growing from here. learning and growing from here. A mother, teaches and helps a child grow. So you're learning and teaching yourself how to grow and move forwards rather than focusing backwards. All right. We do also see the flowers coming through for you here. Giving your all right, giving your time, your love, your energy to your career this month, to your money, to paying attention to these things this month, and giving a little bit of extra time and energy to nurture those things in the ways that you want. Oh, sorry, I've got like itchiest nose right now. It's usually like when I start channeling it, it sometimes gets itchy. But we also see the scythe coming through here as well. So not only are you giving a lot more of your focus to your career and your money this month, but you are actually, giving some of that focus to the things you need to cut out. All right. So once again, with that smart spending, you're using this as a learning opportunity to give yourself a little bit of time and love at the same time, of course, space to learn and grow, but you're also giving yourself, okay, that's it. It's time to cut this behavior out. It's time to cut that out. I don't need that. Once again, is this a need or is this a want? Do I really need Netflix, or is that just something that I want right now? So you kind of know the difference as to, is that something I should, break free from that contract or cut that off at the moment. I do feel for some of you, there is this energy of giving a little bit of extra time and energy to thinking about, the ways in which I can, cut down on my spending and, cut things off from my list of things I'm spending money on. So you're really giving a bit of time to that. And that will actually, doing that and paying attention to, cutting out those unnecessary spendings and unhealthy habits when it comes to spending, cutting free from those really enables a lot of very fast changes to start occurring for you. Because when we give that positive energy and we give our time and our effort to doing those sorts of things, that the universe repays us in kind. This is a reciprocal energy. All right. So we might be giving our time and our effort to, breaking ourselves free from bad habits or bad spending habits. And the amount of time and effort that we're putting into that, we receive back, but we might receive that in different ways. All right. We might receive that from the universe, like in financial benefits. We might receive that for some other really good things happening for us in our life. But it is reciprocal. The more time and effort that we put in, the more time and effort the universe gives us back. All right, it's reciprocal energy there. So definitely time to release a few things here, release the guilt and release those bad habits when it comes to your spending as well, Cancer. All right, so that's what we're seeing for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for that shadow work reading next week. And we will move on over to our Leos. Okay. Leo, what does Leo need to know in regards to career and money throughout April? Career and money messages for Leo throughout April, please. Leo. Okay, Leo. Good decisions. Take responsibility for your financial situation. Commit to making positive changes and write out a plan. All right. So you may actually have some light bulb moments where some new ideas that are formulated just by, taking pen to paper and really formulating a solid plan for yourself financially. Better habits, all right, straight away, continuing that theme on. Identify any self-sabotaging behaviors around money and take steps to work on overcoming those issues. All right, so that needs to be part of your plan for good decisions, is to assess where I, am self-sabotaging with my spending and whatnot as well. All right, and for some of you, I am picking up here, one of the bad habits is that we take too much time off, and you are aware of that you you rely too much on being able to take a day off at, whereas, or not picking up that extra shift, whereas you know that you're more than capable of doing that. So maybe now is a time to, stop just saying no all the time and just take that extra shift, because I feel like for those of you who do that's something that will actually kind of really motivate you, I feel, Leo. So that's just for a couple of you there, where that situation is appropriate, of course. Leo, career and money messages for our Leos throughout April. I just feel like it's this better habits thing, like, because for some of you, it's like it maybe not an extra shift, but maybe it's like getting to work 5 minutes early. Those sorts of things are coming through there. Firstly, we have the masculine coming through, followed by the clouds. So with both of those there, we do see that you do need to take a very logical, rational mindset around money and your habits around money and working at the moment. Okay, especially with the letter coming through here as well. So, we are seeing that coming back through there, that write out a plan. It's time to really put pen to paper and get some documentation in front of yourself to hold yourself like responsible, kind of thing. Like, well, that was what it said, take responsibility for your financial situation. But it's kind of like, what's the word? It's not even responsibility, but it's like you've got someone to answer to, you've got something to answer to. There's a word, it's not coming at the moment. The actual word for what I'm talking about here, accountability. That's the word. There you go. Because when you write out that plan, make space for keeping yourself accountable for these things as well. All right, because that's logical, that's rational. There may be a tendency to overthink things heavily this month, and be careful not to allow yourself to sort of get those thoughts down rabbit holes where we're going negatively in regards to those sorts of things. But once again, we're staying very in control of our own thoughts around money and things like that. This is very much like taking control of yourself. All right, committing to positive changes. Once again, taking responsibility for your situation, coming up with a plan to overcome those issues that you're having. All right, so it's all just wanting to sort of repeat the same sort of message there for you, Leo. So that's what we're seeing for you this month. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for that shadow work reading next week. And we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, what's going on this month for our Virgos when it comes to career and money? Career and money for our Virgos. Virgo, I'm picking up that, I feel like I've told you guys recently to focus a little bit more on your career and stuff this month. Is that the case? It may have been another sign, but I feel like it was Virgo that are very focused in on career stuff this month. Virgo, career and money throughout April for Virgo, please. Giving thanks. Oh, and then Spirit just told me, no, Virgo wasn't the one about settling into career stuff this month. It was about having fun with it. Okay, but giving thanks. So this is part of having fun and enjoying life at the moment too, is that you're practicing gratitude for what you already have. For this practice helps you get out of lack and attract wealth. All right, so making sure we're giving thanks, and look at that, reduce stress. So once again, this month, yeah. So definitely, see, I like that the universe corrected me then and did say, no, Virgo was told to just enjoy life and, you know, get the most out of life at the moment for this month, because that's what's coming through here as well, Virgo. So definitely, if you may want to check out your weekly reading if you haven't already, because it was a really positive message for you, Virgo, around having fun with life, okay? And it's coming back through here as well. Practice self-care to maintain a positive mindset and avoid stress-related money blocks. All right, so really, you know, just being grateful for what you've got, and in sitting on that right now, not stressing about the future. We're just enjoying what life has given us right here, right now. Virgo, money and career messages for our Virgos. April, money and career for Virgo. Okay, Virgo, so we start off here with the bear. What's really fun is look at that bear. That bear is you, Virgo, and look at this fish you've got in your mouth. Here's the fish again. All right, followed by your card, the tree. All right, so this really is an opportunity for you to actually, you know, find a little bit more maturity and growth in the mindset around money this month. And it's coming from this, you know, giving thanks and just sitting back and enjoying what you've already got, reducing your stress around money. All right, because the bear doesn't doubt that it's going to catch the fish. You know, look at that. The bear's already caught the fish. The bear already knows it's got fish, that it's strong and confident, and it can catch that fish whenever it wants. All right. In the lenormand, the fish does generally signify money, finances, abundance, wealth. Yeah. So it's quite apt. The bear creates healthy boundaries, and it knows I don't need to overwork. I just need to do, you know, my normal thing and be thankful for the fact that I know that there's salmon swimming upstream, and I know that I'm going to catch them because I am a bear. I don't doubt myself. I am a bear. I catch fish. That's what I do, you know. So you're being very strong and confident, and just knowing that, look, this is natural to me. This is just who I am. I'm Virgo. I'm a great worker. You know, I just make money. I'm giving thanks for everything that I've already got. And I know that, you know, come tomorrow, there will be more fish for me to go catch. I don't doubt that there's going to be fish. And if there's no fish tomorrow, that's tomorrow's problem. I'll deal with it then. I'm a bear. I just worry about day by day. I don't worry about tomorrow. I don't worry about next month. You know what I mean? Like, even when the bear hibernates, it's not like a squirrel. It doesn't have to store nuts away for the winter. The bear's just like, nah, I'm just going to go hibernate. I'm just going to go chill and have a sleep. And I know that when I wake up, I'll be fine. It's just natural to me. All right. So you're actually healing a part of yourself here, Virgo. You're taking care of yourself in a new kind of way, which has not got so much focus on, I have to do this. I have to be like this. I have to have this career and this amount of money. You're just like, do you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just enjoying what I've got, and I'm not stressing about what I don't have. And I know that means I'm going to grow, and I'm going to heal myself, and I'm going to, you know, expand even bigger, because I'm not, you know, pressuring myself, and I'm maturing and growing and healing. You know, it's actually a really lovely energy here, Virgo, and it's just all about just being who you are and not doubting yourself, just trusting that I'll sort it out. It'll be fine. You know, I'm just going to focus on what I'm going to focus on today. I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. All right. So that's what we're seeing for you, Virgo. Interesting. Definitely unique message for you there. And it does link up with that weekly reading. So definitely check that one out if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do have the shadow work reading next week, so keep an eye out for that. And we will move on over to our Libra. Okay. Libra, what's going on for Libra with career and money throughout April? career and money messages for Libra in April. Okay, Libra. Be realistic. All right. So one of our other signs, I believe it was Gemini, had this one as well. Set realistic and achievable financial goals that align with your values, aspirations, and life purpose. All right. So this means not jumping ahead to the end goals, breaking it down into smaller steps for yourself, and hitting those realistic goals that you can realistically achieve. Before you take the next step towards the bigger goal in general. All right, we do see networking coming through there as well. Network with like-minded individuals who can offer support, advice, and financial opportunities. All right, so you're also needing to be realistic about who you should be networking with. All right, that whether if you're sort of trying to say, oh, I can start networking with Bill Gates and Elon Musk, that might be unachievable. Okay, so that could be one of those big term goals, but needing to take those first little smaller steps in order to, more manageably, realistically, meet those goals. All right, so networking, but also breaking things down into smaller steps for yourself this month, Libra. Libra, what does Libra need to know in regards to career and money throughout April? Career and money for Libra throughout April, please. Okay, so I think this is why we're seeing the be realistic energy coming through for you, Libra, because, we are starting off here with the coffin. All right, this is the Celtic lenormand. So we see the burial mound that is representing the coffin, okay? So that does talk about endings that bring around new beginnings. But I do feel as though it feels like it's something actually like around you has ended. It kind of, the message that's coming through immediately here, Libra, is that, somebody around you, like a co-worker, has left. For example, and that's actually putting, more responsibilities on your plate. That, something has ended. There's, been this end to, the extra funding or the extra support in the workplace or something along those lines. Is seems to be what's coming through as the message here. But, every ending does give you this new beginning on the other side of that. Every death is a rebirth, but it's also, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to get through the ending itself. So I feel like for a lot of you, this actually has not happened yet, this ending. So don't be surprised if a coworker leaves this month or there's an end in some way to like a procedure, like some sort of procedural thing with the way the work is done or something like that. We need to stop doing things that way so that we can bring in this new program or new system or something along those lines. Because we do see the mountain coming through next here, Libra. So there is a little bit of a challenge this month for you when it comes to needing to really sort of knuckle down and do maybe a little bit of extra work. I just feel like this mountain is a challenge in the sense of extra work. That you're needing to sort of be determined to persevere through. All right, a little bit of extra responsibility, a little bit of extra work on your plate this month. We do see the clouds coming through there as well. So, you're needing to think very realistically. Once again, we did see that be realistic, but also, we did see that networking energy there as well. So there may actually be, that may be part of the challenge for you, is to find that extra support. Think about how you can work smarter rather than harder, kind of thing. So, there's this effort that you're putting into the way that you're thinking about things this month, and, consciously thinking things through in a more realistic way, breaking those big jobs or big projects down into much smaller steps so they're much more, realistic for you to hit, and not being afraid to, seek out support, seek out advice, or extra opportunities, to help you meet those things, those responsibilities for yourself this month. All right. So that's what we're seeing for you, Libra. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course, definitely subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for our shadow work reading next week, and we will move on over to our Scorpios. Okay, Scorpio, work, career, and money for Scorpio throughout April. Career and money messages for our Scorpios in April, please. Okay, Scorpio, giving thanks. Virgo had this energy as well, Scorpio. Practice gratitude for what you already have. For this practice helps you get out of the lack and attract wealth. All right, so but this is actually, for some of you, this is going to feel like work. Actually stop and look around yourself and give yourself like a pat on the back, a clap of achievement. Give yourself thanks for how far you have already come, how much you already have when it comes to work and money, because we do the work. All right. Cultivating a strong work ethic and being willing to put in the necessary effort will help you succeed. So it may actually, this may actually be something that you're needing to consciously put in effort to actually stop and give thanks for, what you already have. All right. So rather than focusing so much on what I don't have when it comes to career and money, really needing to actually put in the work to stop and be grateful for how far you've already come, how much you've already got in this life as well. If you want to create more, you need to, have the gratitude for what you already have there. Okay, strong work ethic and being willing to put in the necessary effort to succeed. All right, Scorpio. Career and money for Scorpio in April. Okay. So we do see the stars coming through first for you here. So, this is kind of, once again, giving thanks, but it's also, knowing that your career fulfillment you're already on the path to career fulfillment. That's why sometimes you need to stop and look around yourself and give thanks for already being on that journey. All right, because there is some goals that you may have, but you are kind of needing to, slow things down a little bit and understand that, you can't journey to the stars in a moment. You need to get a spaceship. You need to, travel light years. Sometimes it takes time to meet those goals and have those wishes be fulfilled for you here. And a big part of that is to, see how your wishes have already started to manifest and the steps that you have already started taking. Definitely still keeping those wishes and goals in mind and focusing on those, but also, giving thanks for, how much closer you already are. Definitely coming through here. We do see the house and the mountain coming through as well. So we do see a lot of stability, that you are sort of steadily journeying towards these goals being met here, Scorpio. But there is a lot of stability and stable, secure kind of energy with the house here. This is kind of like, for some of you too, this is generating a little bit more of that family vibe when it comes to your career, the people that you're working with, making sure that we're, sharing that kind of family vibe of, you're safe and secure with me, that this is my home away from home kind of thing. That I just feel like for some of you, there is this need to give thanks to the people around you in a way as well, and sort of show them that they are part of what is, helping you move towards your goals. They are part of what is keeping everything secure and stable and steady as she goes, kind of thing. It's kind of this steady energy here where we're slowly journeying towards our goals. There is a lot of challenges and blockages. I feel like a lot of you're already adept at those, but there may be some, it's not so much challenges, it's kind of like just having to knuckle down and put in the work. Like we see with this card, the mountain there, it really is just all about persevering. Things might seem like this, insurmountable mountain at times, but the more that you just knuckle down and do the work and just keep moving steadily towards your goals, that effort will help you succeed, and you will reach the top of that cliff before you even know it. You'll be at the top of that mountain before you even know it. You'll be reaching those stars before you even know it. All right. So just knuckle down and get things done, I suppose, is a good way to, just keep on keeping on. Scorpio, just once again, keep the stars in sight, and just steadily keep moving towards them. The more that you're giving thanks for the fact that you are moving forwards, the more that you're going to keep moving forwards as well. Okay, so that's what we're seeing for you. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for our shadow work reading next week. And we will move on over to our Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, career and money for our Sagittarius, please. What does Sagittarius need to know in regards to career and money throughout April? Okay, Sagittarius, small steps. All right, break down your goals into smaller, actionable steps to make them more manageable and easier to achieve. Oh, and the other energy we have is pretty much the same thing. We have little bites. All right, so small steps, little bites. Take consistent action towards improving your financial situation, no matter how small. All right, so this is kind of, a little bit more generalized career and money, whereas the apple is talking a little bit more just about the financial side of things there, taking consistent action. So for a lot of you, that little bites energy, it's kind of like just starting a new money jar where you put $2 a week in, small little amounts, putting a little bit extra away here and there, is what I'm getting mostly for that little card there. But Sagittarius, career and money for our Sagittarius. It's just kind of like slow and steady wins the race. Sagittarius is kind of what's coming through this month for you. Just keep on moving forwards, one step at a time, small steps, and you will get there. All right. Because we do have this energy here of I do have the snake followed by the mountain, as well as the clover. Okay, so the clover does let me know here that you may have a little bit of a tendency this month to try to be impulsive, to jump into big steps. And and that's why we're seeing that small steps energy, the little bites energy. You may just have this bit of an impulse this month to make some big grand investment, or jump in the deep end with some new venture or something like that. But that is deceptively challenging. All right, that's how that's coming through. That it may seem like it is a lot easier than it actually is. There's a deception about how challenging this is actually going to be. All right, so it's just kind of a bit of a side message for you here, Sagittarius. Make sure you're taking small steps, because that big leap that you are tempted to make this month, it's deceptive. All right, it's actually more challenging than you think it is. All right, it's deceptively, there's an illusion that it's just this it's going to be a great investment, but there's actually like it's going to be this huge big mountain in your path, this big obstacle or challenge for you if you do jump into that without thinking things through very clearly. Okay, so just be wary of that this month, Sagittarius. So pretty short and sweet message for you there, but that's what we have. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the shadow work reading next week, and we will move on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn, career and money for our Capricorns in April. Career and money for our Capricorns in April, please. Okay, Capricorn, be aware. Open up those eyes. Insight is available. Practice mindfulness and be aware of your spending habits, distinguishing between your needs and your wants. All right, so needing to keep your eyes open and be very sort of conscious and aware of, where you're spending your money, what you're spending your money on, if that is something that you really need or not. Do you need it? Practice your mindfulness and be aware of your spending habits, especially too, Capricorn. Be aware of your habits when it comes to spending. That if you know that when you're feeling a certain emotion, that's when you go and spend a lot of money. Be aware of that, all right, and that way you can help yourself not do that. Explore more. Be open to opportunities and explore different streams of income to diversify your finance. So for those of you who, be aware of opportunities as well, because, we're seeing be aware and this insights and keeping your eyes open, not only on your spending, but also for the opportunities that are available to you at this time. This month, there may be some opportunities for you to expand and into other businesses altogether, other, financial things. Like it says there, opportunities for different streams of income, diversification. All right. So, definitely something about exploring and adventuring for some of you here, to keep your eyes open for those opportunities that seem it's kind of too more adventurous than your normal in some kind of a way is coming through there, Capricorn. But we'll see what comes through with the lenormand as well. Okay, Capricorn, career and money for Capricorn throughout April. What does Capricorn need to know in regards to career and money in April? Interesting. Firstly, we're seeing the stars, Capricorn. So that is giving me a bit of adventure energy there too. That, because it's kind of really keeping yourself open and paying attention to opportunities that are becoming available to you, especially with things that it's like long-term goals, because we do have the letter here as well as the lily. All right, and the lily is a very long-term energy. For some of you, it's a health energy as well. So some of these new opportunities may actually be specifically to do with the health industry in some kind of way, expanding, adventuring in health. But it's like it's investing in your long-term future in some kind of way. It's like you're looking at you're being aware and exploring opportunities that are not for here and now. They're for future kind of long-term goals and wishes and dreams. It's like, and for some of you, these may be dreams that you've had for a long time. Like, oh, ever since I was a child, I've wished I could, have work in this industry or something like that. And with the letter there in the middle, there's some sort of important paperwork coming through here, Capricorn. I'm hearing the phrase expression of interest. But it's like some sort of contract or invitation opportunity. It's like an invitation. One of these opportunities that is actually something that you are wishing for, or it's like leading you towards your dreams come true when it comes to career or money. Just clarify clarify the letter for Capricorn, please? Being very logical and rational. So for some of you, this letter is paperwork in the sense of, while we're trying to be very, very aware of our spending habits, that we're maybe needing to actually put it on paper, you know, get things down, written in front of us, you know, your spending habits, so that you can sit there with your list and literally say, need, want, need, want, need, want. And do that with your goals as well. Need, want, need, want. All right. So really distinguishing between the needs and the want this month, and where can we diversify into other areas that are going to, you know, maintain us career-wise and money-wise in the longer term. For some of you, once again, very strictly with health industry stuff coming through there. It's very much you're taking a lot of control over your own spending. I can definitely pick that up there with that letter. There may be some paperwork that you need to take control over. So for some of you, you're taking over someone else's. It's kind of like, if, for example, if you run your own business, Capricorn, that someone else has been doing the paperwork, and you're like, no, I need to take that over and take that on as my, you know, I need to take control of that. So you may be needing to take control of the paperwork or the like the communication as well, like emails. You maybe need to take a little bit more of a controlling role when it comes to email communication. I am just getting email communication. There may be something about email communication or paperwork that you're needing to just take a little bit more control over at the moment, Capricorn, as well. All right, so that's what we're seeing for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on next week's shadow work reading. And we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Career and money for Aquarius throughout April. Career and money messages for Aquarius in April, please. Kind of throwing themselves at me today. Wise mentors. Surround yourself with positive and successful people who can inspire and motivate you. All right, so it might be a good time for you to think about mentorship of some description. So just surrounding yourself with, you know, what do they say? You know, the people that you surround yourself with are the energy that you pick up on, right? So if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. If you want to be rich, spend more time with the rich people, right? Value first. I don't think it's got much to do with money because of that card there as well, though. But it's the success and the values, right? Especially because of value. So these mentors, it's like mentors with they have strong work ethic and values when it comes to career and how they, you know, value money and whatnot. Release any attachment to material possessions and focus on the value that they bring to your life. So for some of you here, this may actually be like a spiritual mentor who's kind of teaching you like how to let go of that materialism part of yourself that is, I just want money, you know, kind of thing there, that you're maybe surrounding yourself with people that care more about happiness than about having a nice car. You know, just as an example. So that may be something that helps you really add value to your life at this time, Aquarius, when it comes to your work and your career stuff and the money side of things. But career and money for Aquarius. Career and money messages for Aquarius, please. Yeah, because you're definitely learning. Okay, exactly. We have two cards of learning. Okay, firstly we have the fish that has come out here. So this is very interesting because the fish is the finances card, but it talks about abundance and wealth. Okay, and once again, value first. That it may not be the actual money and the material possessions that make you abundant, that make you wealthy. There may be other things in life that make you feel abundant, fulfilled, and wealthy, like rich beyond words, rich beyond money. All right. And that's where we're seeing this learning, this growth. Okay. We have the tree and the book there. This is wisdom, maturity, learning, educating yourself a little bit more about what truly is of value to you, what truly makes you feel wealthy in yourself and your life. Once again, definitely maybe surrounding yourself with people who already hold those values that you are aiming towards with that. All right. So I'm definitely picking up for a lot of you Aquarius. This is going beyond money. All right. This is going beyond value. This is appreciating the value of the nice car because it drives me places, not because it's a $20,000, $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 car. I appreciate that car because it gets me to where I need to go. It could be a $2,000 car, and as long as it gets me to where I need to go, that's what matters. All right. So the difference between, why are we placing so much importance on the value of the possession rather than the value of our quality of life, really. All right, so that's what we're seeing for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for the shadow work reading next week, and we will move on over to our Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Career and money messages for our Pisces throughout April. What's going on for Pisces in April with career and money? Okay. Oh, giving thanks. All right. We've had 2 signs have had this so far, I believe. Gemini and Virgo, maybe? Virgo and Scorpio, maybe. I can't remember. Practice gratitude for what you already have. For this practice helps you get out of lack and attract wealth. Budget wisely. Create a budget that aligns with your priorities and values, allowing you to take control of your finances. All right, so you're needing to find a little bit better balance with your money at the moment. All right, so this is the balance between spending and, making, the balance between needs and wants. All right, that you're needing to give thanks and stop and be thankful for what you've already got. And that's actually telling me too that for some of you, you need to actually start balancing your finances in the way where you're being thankful for what you've already got, in the sense of don't go and buy a new t-shirt if you've already got 5 t-shirts. Does this make sense? Like, it's like kind of like, if you're wanting more money, you don't want to spend as much money on groceries this week. You, instead of going and just straight out buying all these groceries that you want to buy, first go through the cupboards and try to make a meal out of what you already have. That kind of thing. You may already have stuff in your fridge, in your cupboards. That's perfectly fine. But then if you go to the shop and just start buying more stuff, you're just putting more, and then maybe you're not even using the stuff that you already have. So there's just something about balance there when it comes to what you already have. Okay, like instead of buying a brand new t-shirt every week, wash the ones that you have and just wear those again. Something along those lines is coming through here, Pisces, that you've actually got a lot more than you think you do when it comes to stuff like that. and it will give you a little bit of space to move in your budget as well. But also the balance between needs and wants. All right, because maybe I want to go and buy all the stuff to make lasagna, but but I don't actually need that, because when I go to the cupboard and open up the cupboard, I've got all this other stuff to make rice or stir fry or something. Like you've got all the stuff to make something else, but you're like, maybe I want lasagna. But it's like, well, do you actually need lasagna, or should you use what you've got first and then you can worry about lasagna for next week's budget? Does that kind of make sense? Pisces, career and money messages for our Pisces in April. Starting us off here, we have the broom, which is the whip, followed by the cross here. So straight away that there's some tension in the responsibilities, that you're feeling very burdened at the moment by responsibility to sort of make everything work and to make ends meet, because we do have the garden coming through here as well. You can see in this one, it's got, we have that banquet, the food, the picnic here, but the garden is a card of meetings, all right? And so it's like a lot of the time I use the example of, getting on the same page, meeting each other halfway, compromising, putting this is what I've got and putting mine all out on the table, you put yours all out on the table, and we meet in the middle somewhere. And that's kind of what it feels like is necessary here, because you're feeling very burdened by the responsibilities at the moment, because it's because you're having to, you're there's no balance. Okay, there's no balance with the scales there, the balancing. All right, because you're here at your side of the table, and no one's meeting you with the other half, and so there's no, you're feeling very overburdened here, very like you're responsible for everything. That it feels like there's someone else here that needs to, meet you halfway with the responsibilities. That there may need to be a little bit of conflict, a little bit of argument, like an argument that needs to take place, specifically in regard to the responsibilities of, like, the financial responsibilities right now, budgeting responsibilities, and there may be a little bit of argument about that, because you're feeling quite burdened and responsible for that, but it's like you're trying to make ends meet. There is definitely that phrase, trying to make ends meet. You're feeling very responsible to try to make ends meet right now, but I feel as though part of budgeting wisely may be, asking for help, because this is a very social energy. The garden is never you alone. The garden is you asking friends for help. This is you asking other people to help carry the load. For some of you, there may be even like I'm getting things like, reaching out through social media for advice, or on how to budget, or things like that is definitely coming through. Sharing the load a little bit more. It's like it's telling me it takes a village as well, but I know that's normally in reference to other things, but it's kind of like, that you can take control of your finances and relieve some of this burden by, meeting others and asking for advice and asking for help and relying on your social group or your friends or family or whatever, to sort of, help, help you make ends meet, kind of thing here, Pisces. But also the need to once again give gratitude for what you've already got, and pay attention to what you do already have. Like I said at the start there with that example of, what do we already have in the cupboards? What do I already have in my wardrobe? What can I use that I already have to make things work? All right, that will actually really help you meet these obligations, all right, to really stop and think about what you already have. All right, so I hope that helps in some kind of way, Pisces. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Keep an eye out for next week's shadow work reading, and I'll see you all again soon.